And here we are. Welcome, welcome, friends, to Friday night. Welcome to Friday night scrapping. I'm so happy you are here with me. Did I mention that? Okay. Victoria's here, Sandy from Colorado, and Kimberly, Terry, and Terry and Terry. How about that? Chrissy's here, Carol, Susan, Judy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Kansas. Janice, Deborah. Oh, my Aussie friends are here. Okay. Hello. 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 And Chris is right here. She's popped over to my house this afternoon. Chris, you're going to love that paper you picked up because I got some surprises for you. Nancy's here. All right. All right. So, are you guys ready? We're going to have so much fun tonight in honor of kind of this revisit into tips and tricks. I wanted to kind of start actually go back and have a few videos where I can compile some of my favorite things. So this is going to kick it off with actually one of my favorite products tonight, which is Vellum. I love Vellum, you guys. I love it. So Creative Memories has some really awesome packs of Vellum. We're going to dig into that. We've just got so many things, but I love this stuff. So tonight, that is our theme, which is tips and tricks for Vellum. I'm going to share some. I hope maybe if you guys have some ideas, love to hear them too, because this is a community and I love hearing what you guys do with it as well. So I've got some fun ideas. All right. And yes, it's Mother's Day weekend. Thank you, Jackie. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms here and, all of those who will be celebrating on Sunday. So thank you. If you are new here and maybe you haven't seen that, Friday night scrapbooking is kind of a thing. Well, this is where you can find me. I do love using Creative Memories products, so you'll see me use a lot of the CM products, but I dabble in other things as well. So here's my shopping link. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I know I've got folks from both places. And, but you can always kind of watch and rewatch wherever you feel comfortable. And then I also have a Facebook page. So that's where I kind of keep up with what's the news and what's going on. I also have Instagram. So I do like to post there every now and then and, just do something a little different. So yeah. Okay. So Elizabeth says she's never used Vellum. I've got some tips for you today. Okay. So let's see. What am I going to do? Oh, I want to first just mention really quick some news and what's new because today happened to fall on a preview Friday. So let's take a quick look at what's new and what's coming for us on Monday. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so here it goes. Ready? Pretty cute, huh? I like it. paper buffet. Oh my goodness, some great, great new colors. I love those colors. And can I just say, can we all just say, woo, can we all just say, friends, peekaboo pockets. Can we just say peekaboo pockets? 4x3 and 4x4 peekaboo pockets. They're finally going to be part of our product line. Yay! So, hello. I'm just so excited. How long has it been since we've had, that request in? So, yes, we finally get the small peekaboo pockets. I'm excited. Okay, and Cindy's here. Yes, welcome back, Cindy. I know you've been dealing with your grandbaby, so good to have you back, everyone. Yay! Yay for peekaboos, right? Okay, yes, peekaboos. All right, you guys. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Vellum, and so I'm going to first kind of do a show and tell, where I'm going to show you some ways I have actually used Vellum in my albums, and talk about, kind of those techniques and what to do. Then we're also just going to have a little time to play and create and show. Yes, they're listening, Jean. Yes. Right. Peekaboos. We can just keep saying that. Yes. Yeah, I know we had to have them, so we all kind of stocked up like crazy. But hey, they're just something you use all the time, right, Julie? So, all right. So today, like I said, we're going to jump in. I'm going to share some, do a show and tell with some of my albums, talk about techniques, and then we are going to actually play with some Vellum. So let's get started. Also, by the way, have you noticed I changed again? I have a new setup. So I was feeling kind of claustrophobic. Change. The only thing that we can count on is change. So I had to change. Plus, I got my new little spinners in. Did you guys see my tidy up with my new spinner? And I'm just like obsessed with this new spinner for my Border Maker cartridges. And we're going to use one tonight. So I really loved being closer to my stuff when I had my little setup before. I felt like I was always like running in circles around my island. So I'm changing. I've got a new setup. Guys, let me know what you see. I have a new light. I'm trying a new camera. So there's just all kinds of new. Let me know what you think. You got to try it. If you don't try it, you never know if it's going to work. So here we go. I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera and let's see how it works. There we go. How about that? Am I upside down? I am upside down. I'm upside down. Hold on. Yeah, it doesn't look good, but I'm upside down, Carrie. Okay, hold on a second, my friends. I'm going to have to go switch my camera. Tilt this. So let's see if I can get this correct without giving you guys. There we go. Yeah. All right. So I had that all set up so perfectly. And then it's like upside down. Okay, here we go. So I've got my list of all the things I want to tell you about today, but we're going to get started first with this, this setup. Okay. Is that funny? Yeah. Thank you, Sandy. Your upside down happy face. There you go. This is kind of what happens, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is, actually, we're going to get into this in a second. I had that kind of, waiting, but let me get into a little bit of show and tell, which is my favorite thing. And I can see I'm a little bit crooked now since I had to take my phone off. There we go. Okay, so one of the first things I want to start out with is like, when can you use Vellum? Well, in my book, you can use Vellum whenever you want to use Vellum because Vellum is just so cool. So one of the first things I want to share is the way I've used this in, I'm going to turn that off. Sorry, I don't want any dings for you guys. The way I've used this in my travel album. So of course we've got the beautiful Serene Waters vellum paper. And when I saw that, I immediately was like, oh, give me that vellum. I want to play around play around with it and do some fun things. Because vellum, in case you're wondering, what is vellum? It's kind of a translucent see-through paper. And what Creative Memories has done is they've printed patterns on one side. And their vellum is super thick. Okay, it's a gorgeous thick vellum. Not all vellum is created equal. They have a beautiful, thick, heavyweight feel to their vellum, which is what makes me love it even more. So when I did an album share with this album before, but what I want to do is kind of go through a few of the and kind of detail, take a little time to talk about vellum in this album. So this was a travel album I did when we, going back a ways to some trips we took. And when I started putting, so this was like in the 80s, so these are vintage pictures, I'll say. So when I went on this vacation, I thought, okay, there's a lot of chance to use vitamin C. I used a lot of the vitamin C, but then I pulled in, when we got Serene Waters, I pulled in some of those fun embellishments from the Serene Waters collection, which you can kind of see here. So let's talk a little bit about this layout. So one of the first things I wanted to share was I love one, peekaboo pockets, and two, vellum. And so when you can combine peekaboo pockets with vellum, oh my goodness, I got really, really excited on just a fun little technique. Can you guys see that? So this is a peekaboo pocket that I included on top of my page that I added a title to. I stamped this because I still wanted that translucent feel to the title. You could also put sticker letters or whatever you want on here. But I decided to go ahead and stamp that. And this is a translucent, so you can kind of see what's under it. And you're like, ooh, what's under there? Oh, there's a photo under there. Oh, there's some silly faces under there. Some snorkelers under the vellum. So that was just kind of a fun way to stick some vellum in a peekaboo pocket, add a title to it, and it gives, kind of when you're looking at the album, a chance for a little interaction. So along with that, I also wanted to bring some vellum down here into this border. And that's really one of the easiest ways you can add vellum to your pages, which is just layer it. And the cool thing is that you can, when you add vellum, when you layer vellum, okay, so let me kind of show you this. When you layer vellum on top of each other, you get a gradient change in your color. So it starts out light and then it gets darker and darker. And I'll show you another example of that. But that's the cool thing that happens when you layer vellum. One of the original layers, the top layer, is going to be more see-through than another layer that you put on. So I'm going to see if I can zoom in here and see if I can show you a little bit. Yeah, when him let me zoom. Is it gonna, oh, I have to click the button to let me zoom. Okay, so there we go. How's that? Can you guys see that better now? I used the decorative trimmer, okay, decorative trimmer, and just cut the vellum with the wave design. and then offset it, right? So you can have one going up and then flip it, and then you've got the other pattern going across here. So if you were in person, let me go ahead and turn my lights on. I think maybe it's time. I don't know if it's better. Might be better with that, right? So you can kind of see, hopefully, that this lower level right here is a little darker than this upper level. Like you can see the fish a little bit more. And then it's just kind of this technique of layering different pieces in there. Okay, so I did the same thing over here on this edge. You can see the waves. So there's 2 layers of vellum, and you can see here like the fish are much more clear than they are here. So it gives kind of movement and just like a fun look to your page. So in addition to vellum titles, I'm going to like try to leave this zoomed in so you can see it. I can zoom out too. I also decided to try journaling on vellum, which you can see right here. And on this peekaboo pocket, I did the same thing that I did on the title page over here with Discover, but I decided to use that as my journaling space. And if you use our black pens, you know, the Creative Memories black pens, it writes on the vellum really well. You just, you know, give it a little bit to dry. When you first apply ink on vellum, it just takes a little time for it to soak in, but it soaks in really well. Okay, so then again, the same kind of thing where I was showing how there's something behind there, right? I even put a little Salt Life sticker here. So that's a little tab to show, oh, lift that up. And then there's another photo. You know, when you have all these snorkeling photos, what do you do with them? You got to have some fun. Okay, so let me zoom back out so you can see the full page here. And there we go. Let me move this in the screen. So there you can kind of see how the whole page came together. So I've got my layout, I've got the border. This is the vitamin C pre-printed pages. And then there's that peekaboo pocket with the writing on the vellum. Okay. Yeah, no, Serene Waters Vellum is still available, Nancy. So glad you asked. Yeah, and exactly, Jean, maybe that's the word I was looking for, is that vellum gives dimension because you're getting different values of color from vellum. And that's what I love. Love that. Okay, and I think those were the 2 main ones in this book. Yep. 2 main examples from here. Now, one of the other things you can do with vellum, you know, I think it works great with the Serene Waters because that's what we have, right? We've got the Serene Waters vellum paper, which, you know, this is part of it. It's all watery and blue. And so it just naturally goes with those types of pages. But I also really love using vellum with kind of more of a formal look. So I wanted to share a few places that I used it in the redo of my wedding album. So some of you may have seen this as well, but I'm just going to kind of share the soft, you know, kind of when you add a piece of vellum, it just provides a softness to your background. You can barely see it right here on this page, but basically this little piece right here I added to the photo just to give that little bit of softness to the layering that I did, especially because these were professional photographs, right? So I just tucked in some embellishments, and this then is a full just clear vellum, just a clear piece of vellum. And I'll talk a little bit about you know, that as well, where you can get some good, I'll give you a link. The link from my favorite vellum is actually in the description, so you can check that out. So here's another place where I just took some printed vellum. Now this is vintage CM. So if any of you guys have this, Yeah, you know how long I've been scrapbooking too. This is vintage CM vellum that just adds that, again, softness to your page because you can still see the color behind it. It doesn't mask the entire thing, but it gives you just kind of that a neat layer. Now, some of you also might be asking, well, can I punch it? Can I use it with the border maker? You bet. We're going to see that in just a little bit. But one of my favorite, it's so funny. Dorothy used, 2 weeks ago, I had Dorothy from Scrapbooking Quebec as a guest, and she pulled out this doily punch, and it is one of my favorites as well. I had used it a couple times here in my wedding book, and when you combine that doily punch, it's a circular punch with vellum. Oh my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? I think it's so pretty. So again, another layering piece that gives, again, I talk a lot about layering and having a home for your embellishments. So adding that in just gives a place to just add that fun little cluster for your photos. Okay, so let me see. I think there was one other place in here. I'm going to do a quick flip through. I'm still working. I've got everything pretty much put in this album, but I just have to go back and do my journaling. I know, right? It's always about that journaling, getting that in there. Okay. I thought there was one more place I used. There we go. So once again, the doily punch, just adding that soft layer to, this is a smaller photo, of course, and then adding some embellishments to that. So just a few ideas for you. This is definitely more of a formal application of vellum that just kind of softens some of the colors that you can put in some of your pages. So, yes, Ruth said she still has some of that vintage vellum. Vintage, I like calling it vintage. So BJ is saying, will the adhesive show through and what adhesive do you use? Great question. So there is a vellum refill to in the Creative Memories adhesive line, and it works pretty well. And it's the one with the blue insert. And if you remember, so that's why it's in my blue case so that I remember this is vellum. And if not, if you don't have the blue case, you could always just grab another case and write vellum on here. And typically it works pretty well, but I always suggest, kind of testing it out because different vellum papers do different things with the adhesive. And one of my biggest tips for vellum is an easy way is to put your adhesive where you know it's not going to show. If you're clustering, then put your adhesive under this. If you're putting a photograph on top, put your adhesive under here. You can see this whole thing pretty much comes up, but I have that tucked in because of the other things on top of it. And I'll show you a little bit more about some tricks with the adhesive in a little bit as well. Okay, so that's another album show and tell. And then this one is one that I did at the beginning of the year, if you guys remember. And this is this is my story. So there is a workshop on how to create this album. This is in a happy album size. But this workshop had a lot of vellum components to it. And so what I did is I printed these questions and journaling prompts for this album on vellum. And I do have these for sale in my shop. So when I'm looking at, a kind of my own, looking for my own vellum paper, one of the things I want it to be able to do is print. I want to be able to print on it. Not all vellum you can print on. Okay. And I wanted it to have a good weight to it. So this is the vellum that I found, and it is also linked in the description of this video. And you can see that when I run it through my laser printer, it gives a beautiful clean print right on that vellum. So that's something that I look for. Sometimes depending, you have to practice a little bit. So this is the vellum that I use to print these titles. But I also found there were a lot of folks who are like, well, I don't have a laser printer. I don't have a printer. Just Lauren, make them for me. So I do have a set of all the journaling prompts. And you can see then you can just add those. So these are journaling squares on vellum. But when you get to, let me show you like this one, isn't that kind of neat? Because it's almost like you're printing on top of the pocket card because the vellum is showing that design through the back. And so think about that when you want to do, if, maybe you want to print your journaling, maybe you want to print titles, maybe you want to do all that kind of fun stuff. You could do that on vellum and then add it to the top of a designed paper just like this. So it's kind of fun when you see, I think there was another, like this one, here's another example, how it just shows that pattern through this, even this foiled pattern, and you can just see all of that detail underneath because the vellum just gives that soft layer to your page. Okay, so there's another idea. Now, you were also with me when I shared, we did a border together, didn't we? With Q the Blue. And we had some fun making this border on Friday Night Scrapbooking. So if you're interested, you can find the video where we did borders. And if you can pick it out, so one of my tips for vellum is sometimes you just treat vellum like it's paper. Just treat it like it's paper. But depending on what vellum you're using, it's going to give kind of different effects to your layout. So for this layout, I used it here. So this is Q the Blue vellum. So can you kind of see how, even though from a distance you might go, oh, that's just blue paper. But when you see it up close, you can see that, you can see that pattern behind it. And then in the border, I used the floral paper in the background of this border just to give that really slight pattern to this design. And that is what I love about the vellum, is how just that little detail, the softness, the transparency, the ability to see some of the paper that you're layering on top of through it, that just gives your layout such a unique feel. Okay, so that's another way you can use vellum, is just like it's a piece of paper, right? And just use that intermixed with your different shades and tones of paper that you're going to use. Okay, so since we've got Q the Blue out, let's just take a look at, so this is some of the vellum for Q the Blue, and the pack for this comes like this. So you actually get some kind of more white with blue lines on it, this dark blue, almost a marble texture, this floral, a large floral, and then this petite floral. So the petite floral is what I used here, and then this dark blue is what I used behind the photos here. And I had some other little, let me find these. I have a little idea pouch here. So this again is kind of showing how you can take that layer of vellum and just add that as a piece of paper. So this was just kind of a way to see how that is up close. Hopefully you can kind of see. So that's the vellum piece. And then these are the layering strips on top. Okay, so the other thing, another idea I had with Cue the Blue is, you know, playing off the idea of the transparency. So Cue the Blue has some really awesome embellishments that come in the pack, which have some of these titles on it and just different designs. And I found this circular one that had a cutout. And I said, well, if there's a cutout there, you know, then vellum can go on that cutout, right? So I don't know if you can you kind of see how that transparency, maybe if I hold it sideways. And then what I did to this, so this I just took the custom cutting system, the medium pattern with the red blade, and cut a little scrap of vellum to go on the back. And then I decided to put foam tape on the back. So if now I add that to this border, it's really hard to see this on camera, but it gives such a neat dimension to that. It just really feels like it's translucent instead of being straight up against the paper like this. It's kind of floating just like that. And this would be a great, you know, embellishment you could put to your page. So you can kind of see, you know, depending on where you put it, it's going to have the reflection or you're going to see what's behind it in the little window. Okay, so there's another idea for using some of the Cue the Blue and the vellum with that. We've got that. This is that border, so you can kind of see there. And then another fun project you can do is to make an envelope. So when you look up, you know, ideas for vellum, a lot of them have to do with invitations and card making and things like that. And I thought, well, what if we wanted to do that with our scrapbooks? So guess what, friends? Grab your envelope maker and you can make the cutest little envelope out of vellum. What do you guys think about that? Isn't that fun? So this would be a fun way to add journaling to a page. So this one, I pulled out the card and I just cut this card down, you know, cut the matte card down. But if you want it to stick out, you just cut it a little bigger, a little longer than your envelope. And then that sentiment can kind of stick out. So I was thinking like this would be really fun if you took your corner rounder and just rounded the corners on this little card. And then what a fun little journaling card this would be on your page just to slip it in. You could write, today was a good day, and you could say, oh, what did you, you know, what was so fun that you did today? So that's another idea for the use of vellum, is to make a little envelope. And when you do that, again, and if you'd like, I can just do a quick little demo on that. So on your envelope maker, it's so easy. I mean, even if you're like, oh, am I going to forget how to do that? No, just look at the grid. So this one is the envelope for a 3x3 card. But again, like I said, I cut this as a taller card. Is it too bright?
It's washed out.
Okay. Well, I can, the lighting is a little too bright. How's that? Better? We'll try that. If it's too bright, I know we're still playing with the new lighting in here. Okay. Yeah, I want you to be able to see what I'm working on. Okay, so let's make a little envelope. Oh, we've got questions, Ruth. When you are printing on vellum, what do you set as your paper type? You know, I actually, if you get the printable vellum, I didn't have to change my, with my laser printer, I didn't have to change it. But if you are printing on like an inkjet, I would say it's almost, you'd have to use something that, like a semi-gloss, something like that, because it does have that kind of waxy coating to it. But yeah, good question, Ruth. And Sherry says, do you have samples using the vellum title rectangles? Oh, from Old CM. You know what? I almost brought that album over and I thought, oh, I don't need to get it. But maybe if my honey's watching, if you could bring the Alaska Cruise album over from our bookcase, maybe he'll bring that in, and I could show you. Yeah, I actually used those quite a bit in my Alaska Cruise. That is vintage. That album is vintage. Okay, so okay, maybe that's a little bit not quite as bright for you. Okay, so let's do. I got a little off track there. Answering questions. Let's go back, and I'm going to make. Let's see, a paper size. I'm going to have to get a piece of vellum here. Let's do. Here we go. I've got this vellum right here. So if I want to make a 3x3, I want my paper to be 5.5. But let's go down. Let's do a 5-inch square. Let's do a 5-inch square and make it even smaller, because then you could just use it as a fun little embellishment on your page, which I've got a fun other idea for you. Okay, so we're just going to take our paper, and this is a 5-inch square. And then this says use punch guide number 2, okay, which means you line it up right here and then you score it. So with the vellum, you don't want to press super hard, but it still scores really beautifully. Just, take your time. And then I'm going to line that up at 2, whoops, over here, turn it, and I've got it lined up at 2, and I'm going to score here. And then this one, score here. So the envelope maker, if you haven't seen this in action, it's got all the things you need. So it has the little punch to notch out these little areas. And here. And then it also has the corner rounder to round all these sharp edges. So let me move this over here. I know this is kind of getting a little shadowy over here. Let me see if I can put these down here. Okay. And get that over here. Okay, so then that's a little better. Then we've got this to go in here, and we just round that and round that and round this and round this. It's just, taking the sharpness. So that's the envelope. And then you can put your little scoring tool back in. And now we can practice with our vellum. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you here. Okay, so the vellum, like I mentioned before, different vellum. This one you can see I used the vellum adhesive. So I put a tape here, and then I did it underneath this fold. But this one, you can see it's barely noticeable, not very noticeable. That is with a dark vellum. Let's try it out on this lighter vellum. And this one, we could have the envelope. I think this one would be cute if we did the envelope this way. And so, wait, no, let's see. I guess it's not meant to go that way. Maybe this design is meant to go like a tall, skinny one. So I guess we have to do this and then fold up the bottom. So this is going to be like a cute little tall card, which is fun. And then I'm going to put a little bit of vellum. Now the vellum is a little bit, I'm going to show you this. See how it's a little stringy and sticky. That's normal. That's the way it is. But what you have to do is advance it so that that sticky part is ready to go again for your next bit. Because sometimes when you pull it off, it kind of makes that long string. Okay, that's just what I've noticed with the vellum adhesive. But you can see here, it's really not, you're not noticing anything. I'm going to put a little touch under here too. Keep that folded arm part down. And then you have this fun little tall envelope. So what can you do when you have envelopes like this? What can you do with them? Well, you can make really fun little embellishments for your pages. So this is one that I created. It was actually out of the same paper. Now, instead of using the envelope maker, I just did, I created a pocket. So this is just adhered down. So you can see here, I just folded those back down. Actually, there's the adhesive. And the three sides are folded. And then I did a little notch out. And then I took this matte card from the Serene Waters collection. Okay. And I cut this end off so that it would fit in the pocket. And then I added this fun little bit from the embellishments, from the Serene Waters embellishments. And those are really cute because you can, when you put them in the pocket, again, you can see that translucency and see them through it. Like you can go, oh, there's something in there. Isn't that fun? And I love this. This, I think, is my favorite pocket card out of the whole collection. Peace is always beautiful. And so you could do something fun. You could put, you know, where you traveled to. You could put a date on here and just have it as a fun little pocket. So that's the beauty of Vellum, is being able to kind of make all this fun stuff, but yet you see what you're tucking inside. Okay, so there's that with the Serene Waters collection. And going back to, do I have any other questions? Yes. Love the little envelope. Everyone does need a honey. Yes, Sharon. Yeah, and Jean says she doesn't change the settings either. Okay. So when I pulled out Cue the Blue, what I also wanted to mention is that Vellum is a little, you know, it's got its own unique properties. And one of the things that you could do with Vellum, if you take a close look right here, can you see these two little white lines right here? So that's actually kind of what to me, it almost looks like stitching. Maybe you can see it really good right there. Can you see those two little white lines? Well, I'm going to give you a fun little tip on how to do that. And it goes along with this tip as well, which is Vellum, when you score it, the reverse side, you get white lines. So I just took my scoring board, and you can use the scoring tool from the envelope maker if you don't have one. And I just created kind of almost like a journaling box with Vellum from scoring the opposite side. So remember, Vellum, on one side it's printed, and on the other side it's just the raw paper. So it's on the raw paper side that you see the indentation from the Vellum. So it's kind of fun. You know, different things you can do. Now, the same technique is what's happening over here with the stitching. And let me show you how to do that as well. So this, again, just another fun technique that you can do with your scoring tool. Vellum is, as I said, a unique type of paper. It's just, it's its own thing. So to get that stitched look, what you're going to do is actually get your perforating blade. How many times have you wanted to use this? Like, what do you do with that? So let's get you put the perforating blade in, and remember, it's going to have a printed side and a non-printed side, but it's the non-printed side that you're going to see the perforation come out on. Okay, so I'm going to move my paper to the 1/2 inch mark up here, and then just lightly bring that across, and then I'm going to move it up a 1/4 inch just to get that double stitch, kind of like a, you know, like you're sewing jeans, and then you get that really neat perforation look and detail. Now, yes, you could use this as a perforation and peel it apart, but what I like is with vellum, you actually get a stitch to look to your paper. Ever so small, just kind of a neat little way to add some texture to your vellum paper. So that's another tip on how to use it just to add a fun little detail. That's how I did this right here. Okay, so while we're on the topic of printing on, yes, it also embosses beautifully. Yeah, I love embossing. Since we're doing mostly scrapping here, Belinda, I didn't kind of get into my whole embossing folders and such things. But yes, you could definitely get out your embossing folders and emboss, because it's beautiful. But since we're on embossing, vellum also works beautifully with die cuts as well. And as you guys know, I kind of have a thing for die cuts. Dies. And here's this, I was so surprised how quickly I had these. These are some of my favorite stitched dies. There was a little set that I ordered in for my shop, and they're already sold out, but I'm going to order some more. And you can see how fun that cuts vellum. You know, the stitching detail just does a little something different to the vellum paper. It's really fun. So if you do have a die machine and can do some die cutting, oh, well, you can have some fun with that. So this was another die. So if you're a card maker, you probably have some of these layering pieces, right? And I'm going to grab my my Serene Waters and show you. Like, you could just take this fun little layering piece. Oh, you can't see it because I'm zoomed in. This fun little layering piece that I cut out of vellum, and then just add that and put some embellishments on there, and you could be good to go, right? Let me see. The Serene Waters, I'm just still in love with this collection. I think I need to go someplace tropical so I can, you know, just have more fun. Okay, let me see. Where's the opening? Give me the opening. Look at how fun that would be. Put relax on there. There we go. You could do these fun little, you know, we're just building a little cluster here, friends. And I think we need like a little starfish, right? And look at just how fun that is, just to add that little bit of texture and embellishments, and then you've got just something fun going on. Okay, so don't forget, if you have other toys in your craft room, that vellum is a good thing to play with those other pieces. So you can kind of see how that looks. Isn't that neat? Like that. I like that technique. Okay, so we have talked about, oh, so many things already. Let's talk about printing and titles on vellum. How about that? So another fun technique to use with the thing that you can do with vellum is use our brand new metallic pens. And if you use the metallic pens, what I kind of wanted to share with you, you can, this is the fine point. Okay, so you could put a title on here like this day, right? And I want to see if you can, well, that dried pretty fast, but when you first write, you'll notice if it catches the light, it's a little bit shiny. So it's a little wet. So it will smudge when you first write on vellum. But isn't that kind of fun? I love the metallics on the vellum. The bath time I wrote with the dot tip pen, the dot side. And you know, you can do dots as well. So you can have some fun just using the dot tip of your pen to create those dots. Maybe you can kind of see how, do you see how those are still kind of wet? So you just want to set that aside and let it dry. But you could also use the dot tip to write. Now you have to kind of know that you're going to write big when you use the dot tip pen. So you could do something like this. This is us, right? Kind of like a title. And again, let that dry. Now the gold is going to work the same way. And so you can kind of see how that's still a little bit wet. See how it's kind of dark, but once it dries, it's going to get much lighter. So as soon as you write, you're going to go, oh, this looks dark. It doesn't look metallic. Just give it a minute to dry, and then it gets much lighter and much more silver. Okay, so you can kind of see how that color's changing. Hopefully you can see that. But when it catches the light, it's just so fun. There we go. So try your new metallics with the vellum. And of course, we've got the purple metallics, the mauve metallic, gold and silver metallic. And then with the paper buffet, did you notice we're going to have blue and green metallics as a freebie when the paper buffet comes out. So we're going to have all kinds of metallics to use with the vellum. Now remember, you can still write on this with black, just like I showed you in my journaling box here. You can still write in black with your vellum as well, just like that. Okay, so there's kind of a close-up. All right, any questions? Did I miss any? So basically, add metallic pens to next order. You got it, Ruth. Yes, it's like magic. You can't see it until it starts to dry, but once it dries, isn't it gorgeous? So pretty. So try your metallics with vellum. It is so much fun. All right, now I also want to share a few designs. This I know you may have caught the You Quack Me Up paper pack. When I saw this paper pack, I was like, I love this paper pack. But what was kind of unfortunate is that there was nothing to go with the paper pack. So let me see if I can zoom back out so you can see it. So what I ended up doing, because I was on a whim, so I created my own artwork to go with the You Quack Me Up paper pack. And this is some of that artwork. So this is a download that you can do. It has the title cut files in here, as well as the artwork that you can do a print and cut. So if you're savvy with your Cricut or Silhouette, you can make your own little pouch of embellishments. So that's what I did. And then I went to town and had to play around with this. And I believe the Vellum came out about the same time as the You Quack Me Up. And so I loved the colors of the Vellum with the You Quack Me Up paper. So I did this fun border using, so that's where some of this artwork comes from, the tub and the little brush. This is the rubber duck punch. You guys, I think it's still on sale. Is it still on sale? I can't remember. Or maybe it just went off. But that's the little duck punch. And one of my favorite techniques is to, I know I've shared it in a few places, is to punch the first punch out of paper and then punch a few more out of cardstock so that you get a little dimension, but it's not like it's the same as foam when you put it up on foam tape. It's just a little bit of dimension. So for this, I used Vellum in a couple places. One, I wanted an anchoring piece for this artwork. So I cut a circle out of the kind of watery looking vellum, this watery looking vellum here, this one. And so I picked a place where I really liked the pattern. And then I just put that on top of white cardstock so that it really showed the pattern of the translucency and the vellum. And then the rub-a-dub, if you can see, I wanted to bring that same element. And you know, Carrie is my cutting buddy, and so whenever you see Carrie's name on Friday Night Scrapbooking, you know we've been playing around with cutting tools. And so she's the one who kind of inspired me to do a background layering for my title for this one. So the title is just cut with white cardstock, and then the background is cut with vellum. So I hope you can kind of catch that. But it gives all this beautiful variation in color when you use that as your background piece to your titles. So again, a little more advanced scrapbooking for electronic cutter users, but I think it makes a really fun embellishment. And once again, on this layout, I just did the simple idea. Can you guys pick out where the vellum is? And that is, the vellum piece is right here. It's behind these sailboats. It's that soft, kind of stripy pattern paper right here. So this is the vellum. Again, just layering the circle on top of the white cardstock and then adding the embellishments to that. Okay, so if you're interested in these, the link is in the description. You can check it out. But you do all the titles and everything, you have to kind of know how to use your cutters. If you're interested, just go watch anything with Carrie's name on it on my channel, because we're always teaching you how to use your cutting, and kick up your scrapping a notch with that. So again, just a simple layering technique for your vellum there. Okay. So can you punch vellum? Absolutely. Can you use it with border maker cartridges? Absolutely, you can. But my biggest recommendation for this would be to not use a very intricate border punch, you know, this is the circle. And so it's a simple, easy punch. It punched beautifully. No worries there. You could use that with on a piece of paper. Let me get this. This orange is catching my eye from the You Quack Me Up. Look at how fun. You know, you can just add that as a layering piece in here. And easy enough. Easy peasy. Let me see. I'm feeling like the color is just a little, yeah, maybe that's it. Okay. All right. So I hope the color is kind of showing through there, but this is a very light, thin blue, and then you've got the orange. You could do that on all kinds of different paper, but you need something that is going to pop. Maybe the darker blue. You can kind of see it there. Okay. Hello. Hi, Cruz. Welcome. I think you were from Paper Crafters, weren't you? Paper Crafters. I think I remember your name. So, oh, I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Okay. Welcome. All right. So we have talked about, any questions? We've talked about so many different things. How to use them for layering, how to use them for backgrounds for your cut titles, how to punch them. You can punch them with a border maker cartridge. You can write on them. You can score on vellum. You can write with metallic. You can make envelopes. You can use your dies and have so much fun with your layering shapes and dies and tags. With that, you can make pockets. You could just use it like paper. And that's not all. Let's see. I have, okay. So let's see, what did I have in here? So some ideas where you can take some of these ideas that we've just learned. How about the new stained glass embellishments? What if we put vellum behind that? You know, wouldn't that be kind of a neat look? Not that one, but let me see. I need to get a better vellum to put behind there. Let's see. Oh, I have it here. But what if we dug into some of these fun blues from Q the Blue? And I love this vellum. Just so many fun patterns to work with. But you could use vellum with these layered laser cut embellishments. How pretty would that look? And also, what about this? I mean, it kind of goes along with, quote, stained glass, right? Using it with that and showing, you know, just that slight pattern underneath. You could even put it, you know, in between two layers. So it gives a soft, anything that you put vellum, it just softens what you're working on. Okay, so I just wanted to bring those in. Let's see. So we've talked about how to adhere, which is the tape. This is my favorite, the tape runner refill from Creative Memories. That's especially for vellum. You can also, as I mentioned, just put the adhesive in places that you're not going to see it. That's another tip. Anything, your regular tape runner, if you use something like this, you're going to see the white pieces through the vellum. You're just going to see that little bit of glue. Do you kind of see that? So I don't recommend using this unless you know you're going to layer something on top of it and you're not going to see it. Foam tape works really well also. With vellum, like no problem with that at all either. Okay. All right. So I think we've talked about a lot of those different things. I thought what we could do to kind of wrap things up is actually make a border using some vellum And I really wanted to whip out this new Starfish Border Maker cartridge. So I thought we could just play for a little bit and see what we could come up with for a border using the Serene Waters. So I'm going to grab my Serene Waters book again. And oh, look at, I have all these fun things to play with already. And I've got some embellishments out. We've got some Serene Water. The collection just goes on and on, doesn't it? Oh, here's another thing I wanted to share. I had tucked this in here. So remember how I said when you layer with vellum, the gradient changes depending on how many layers you put together. So this is like a little example I made up to show you. So this is just a matte card from Cue the Blue, and I did that little stitching technique with the perforated blade here. And if you put one layer down, you can see you kind of have this one feel of translucency. But then when you put another layer down, you just kind of created a lighter shade and now a medium shade. And then what if you put another shade, another layer down? Again, these are just little strips I've cut from the same paper, but do you see how you get this really awesome variation in tone, in how dark and light the paper is, depending on how much you layer? And again, that's one of the unique qualities of vellum that you can't really get with other things. So that's just another little idea to keep in mind when you're using vellum. Just like those water waves that we used, we're going to do that again right now, but the layering is going to give you different values of tone depending on how many layers you put on your paper. Okay, so just another little example there. Alrighty, let's make a border. Who are my border fans? Let's do it. I think I am going to bring this back in here. I love that little net. Oh, so fun. Okay. All right. Oh, here's another one that I did. This is just a little tiny, see that? Little tiny layer, just one layer circle, and then a little layer of vellum, and there's a foam square behind it, so it gives a little bit of dimension. You can just add vellum wherever you feel like adding vellum. It's just as easy as that. Okay. I see I never finished making the border for the other side. This was another, I think this was another Friday night scrapbooking when we, or it could have just been another live. I remember doing it live where we built a bunch of borders with the Serene Waters collection. So that's another video. Here's another layer of vellum. That's another video that you can watch if you need some more ideas. So isn't that fun? So you can just see the fish through here, that softness. Okay. Have I sold you on vellum yet? Are you going to go buy some vellum? Let me show. We're going to do some borders here, some layers here. But in case you're wondering what's still available, I think I pulled, where are those packs? Okay, so Cue the Blue is still available. This is the Cue the Blue vellum. This one was a vellum, you know, like if you go, where did I get that vellum from? Where did that pack come from? Serene Waters, still available. So these come in sets of 5 sheets for $5. So that's how you get the vellum. And same with Cue the Blue. There was a vellum paper in one of the I think this was a secret box. It was the I Am Grateful To, or it was like a separate collection, like a bundle. And it had some vellum paper in here, which, as you can see, I'm hoarding. Like, I love this paper. It's unopened and it's mine. But they did have some vellum if you got the I Am Grateful 2 collection. And I'm hoping that they're going to come out with some more, you know, to add into our collections. I think it would be really neat. If you're old school, this is what my old school, my vintage, who were my vintage folks again? This is my vintage vellum folder. And you can see some of those old company patterns of vellum. This was another one that came out with new company though, with a, I think it was the I Am Grateful. No, I can't remember. There was another collection and it had a few sheets of vellum in here, which I love. This was, 2 or 3 years ago now, but it had birds printed on one. So love that too. Okay. Let's play a little bit with the Serene Waters vellum and some of the Serene Waters paper. So what I love about the Fast to Fab with vacation albums is that it's always so easy and fast, right? It's kind of like, oh, it's done. I'm going to see if I can move this. There we go. So I keep trying to scoot over, but I don't have more room that way. Okay, so let's pull some paper because, where did it go? I want to use the new Starfish Border Maker cartridge, which I think is going to be really fun to use as a tuck-in layer. And I'm going to kind of use the inspiration of this border that was from the blog. And I never made this one, but I always thought, oh, that is so pretty. So this is one where they've just done some layers with the swell on the decorative trimmer to create these waves and layered those different pieces. So I want to try this with the new Starfish border. So first, what I think is I need some orange paper to punch those starfishes, right? Nope, not that. That's not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, well, that'll be a neat starfish, I think. Let me see. Unless there's another one. Oh, gosh. Decisions. Oh, that might make a really neat starfish. I tell you, I think I can just buy oodles of this Serene Waters collection. Like, I can't get enough of it. This is pretty, too. Oh, what do you guys think? Oh, so many choices for orange. I think it needs to be a little bit more of a bold color. So let's go with the dark orange. Let's go with this one. Okay, so ta-da! Countryside Comfort. Yes, Courtney. And I had the vellum. Thank you. Oh, we've got our smart cookies watching tonight. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, Countryside Comfort. I got like 1 pack of it. It was an older one for sure. Okay, I'm just gonna move this out of the way so I can punch my starfish. Loved that with the birds. So hopefully we're gonna get some more. Oh, isn't that starfish cute? Okay. Love. This is a chain. This is a chain border maker cartridge. So it's going to be a freestanding piece when we're all punched out. Isn't that fun? So there's the starfish. And I don't know. I might have to punch another one. It's just so cute. So cute. So cute. Let's go ahead and use that other orange. This one. And I don't know. Well, we'll come back. If we need to do that, we will. So indecisive. Okay, so let's build. I kind of wanted to build it on the page. I'm getting this book all ready. We did a Western Caribbean cruise, and I'm just thinking, oh, if I'm going to build borders, I'm going to build borders for this book, and then all I have to do is put my photos in. So you can see that's already got some great contrast going on here. And then what we need is some blue paper. So you can see I practiced on my titles And, you know, sometimes you just have to do that. So we've got this water paper. Oh, that looks really cool. I don't even know. I don't even have to go any further. Look at how fun that is. And the fish one uses these swells, but since I'm building on top of this tighter wave, I think I'm going to use the tighter wave on the decorative trimmer. So what's fun about this is that when you are making waves, I'm just going to go to the 1-inch mark right here. Bring my paper to the 1-inch mark on the trimmer. Okay. And when you're making waves, you automatically get 2 pieces, which is fun to layer with. So we've got that, and then I need my straight trimmer, which has the perforating blade in it. So let me change that out. And so I'm going to cut this at the 1-inch mark also, or we might end up trimming that. Nope, let's get it down first because I might trim that a different. So we have a layer here. Oh, that's getting lost, isn't it? We might have to go above. We might have to go above this blue water. And let's see, maybe what we do is starfish first. Then we do a little bit of vellum. So we're kind of tucking that starfish in there. Maybe you go down a little bit. And then, yeah, let's see. Kind of not sure how to. Oh, I know. Okay, we're going to make this a longer piece. I think what we're going to do is this is going to go back here. The starfish may go here. And then we're going to add another piece on top. And I'm just going to guess on, I might have to trim this again. Okay, so right now, if I'm looking at the pattern, this is kind of going the same. Is it going? Oh no, it's going the opposite. Right. So you can always flip your pattern so that it makes the waves and swells for your vellum there. So I kind of wanted to get these tucked in, and it's such a simple idea. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this again. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want a raw edge. I want a wave edge on this one. So I'm going to cut this again. And this time, I think I'm going to bring it down to the bottom of the decorative trimmer. So that's one of the tips with the decorative trimmer, is using the top or the bottom is going to give you either a parallel wave or an offset wave. And I'm going to go for the offset wave with this here. So I moved it down to the bottom. And now, oh yeah, now I've got this really fun, look at all these fun pieces of vellum and waves and so forth. So yeah, that is perfect. So now we've got, instead of a raw edge, we've got a wavy edge. And you are probably having a hard time seeing that. So I'm going to zoom in for you. How's that? Is that a little better? Can you kind of see? So there, I'm going to lift it so you can see in person. You've got the back pattern here. So on this, let's go ahead and show what that vellum adhesive. So remember, I got to pull it up to the top because it is a little stringy. So it moved. And on this, what I found for borders is you almost just need a little at each end to hold it into place. You don't need a whole lot. So I'm going to put this here to give that colored dimension. See how pretty that looks? Then I'm going to add my starfish. And I'm going to add the repo adhesive to this one. which is my green container. Here, okay, so now we're going to add the starfish. And now we've got this awesome second wave to just layer on top. So we're going to see kind of light and dark happening with the starfish, which is just so fun. Okay, so I got to advance that. If it's not catching, just roll it up with your finger, the vellum adhesive. There we go. Oops. Just scoot it over. And there we have that. Such a simple addition to this. I think is so fun though. So let's get in and one second. Okay. I had to get a quick message out. And now we're going to embellish. What do we think? Yeah, you like that, Debbie? Isn't that fun? Okay, so we could then go to town off of that. So many choices. This is a coral. This is a coral laser border. Isn't that fun? That would be fun to add to the front. I like that. I think I'm going to add that right on. And again, just doing these different textures and layers to me is what, you know, kind of building borders is all about. It's just so interesting. So we've got this. And then, is Mary here? Where's my cluster girl? And then we're just going to need a little cluster to add on here. Thank you. Thank you. My honey brought the Alaska album before I forgot. How to send him that message. And so I'll share how we did the old school vellum. I'm going to add, I think, on this page, I love this coral. So maybe this coral is gonna kind of go in and out, tuck it in. So we're gonna add, kind of start to add a little bit of cluster area right here. And I know I had some more starfish, some orange ones, but I think I used them all up. But that's a fun piece to add in here. And of course I need my foam tape for that piece. So whenever you have kind of this awkward intersection, that's where you put a layering piece, right? And then it just covers that up. And gives you a place to also add some other things if you need. Okay, and I don't know if we're going to add a little wave. The thing I like about these little wave pieces is that they have a little bit of shine to them. I don't know if you can catch that on the camera. There it goes. See that little bit of shine? And so when you put that, it gives that little pop of, I don't know, what would you call it? A little pop of glisten. Glisten, that's what it is. We don't sweat, we glisten. Little pop of glisten to your page. Kind of fun. The bubbles have it. There's just different pieces that have that. Let's see. I think there might be a title in here. Just add water. That's kind of fun. We could tuck that in. Maybe, or that could go in here. Maybe that's better than the wave. I think we'll use that since we need a bit of some words. Just add water and add that in with some repositionable adhesive in case I need to move it later on. And I can turn my, oops, my little starfish. There we go. just add water. And we did. We added vellum water, didn't we? That got on there crooked, didn't it? Okay, let's see. There we go. Kind of looking a little crooked on the camera, but all right. Maybe my border's on a bit. Okay, so as easy as that, again, kind of taking you through the process, using your vellum, using a decorative trimmer, layers, border maker cartridges, clusters, and you've got kind of a fun little setup ready for your photos. So, any questions? It looks like a fishing net. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yes. Sandy says, thanks, honey. Thank you. I almost forgot. So let me bring out my old school. You guys, this is a little embarrassing because this is like old school scrapbooking. I'm okay. I'll share it. So there's a little close-up with those different layering pieces. So fun, so easy. I hope I've hooked you all on vellum. One of my favorites. Okay, let me zoom out again. Yeah, if you remember this album cover, now you're going to know this is really old school. So this was my Alaska cruise from 2005. And this was with old company. So this is what we had. This is what we didn't have all the fun stuff we have nowadays. So this album, I think it was Sherry who asked, what do you do with the vellum quotes? Well, I used them in this book. The travel ones, I loved the travel. So once again, you have to be a little strategic where you put your adhesive. Now, long ago, we had, do you have that one? Yes, I know. You have this album, see? Mary, Peas in a Pod. Okay. We had vellum photo splits. Do you guys remember that? Vellum photo splits. So you can kind of see a shadow where I put those photo splits. I feel like this works a little bit better than the old vellum photo splits, but I would always try to just put it where I was hoping it wouldn't really be noticeable when you're adhering that to your page, right? So that was one of the places. And okay, we're talking, yep, old school. And I know I used it a couple other places. We're doing a quick flip through. Here we go. This is another quote, vellum quote. So again, just kind of putting it on. I think this time I actually, no, I did put adhesive under there, but you could also just stick something down with a sticker. Yeah. Nancy's like, I fall in love with vellum all over again. I know, that was my goal. So hopefully you can kind of see that little square. And I loved the travel ones. I think those were fun. Was that it? I thought I did it one other place. I thought I had. Oh, there's a vellum title right there. So those old school ones certainly do still work in our books. Here's another one. Just add them right on. Okay. And the yellow album. Yes. So did we give you a little stroll down memory lane for all you old CMers? And got those old memories back. Yeah. Hey, it's scrapped. It's done. It's a piece of history. So I'm happy that it's finished. Right. But I think that's just kind of, to look one more time at how we can use vellum. And if you don't have any of the old school vellum, you can, like I said, you can make your own. We can just print it and use that with our printer. Okay, so any other questions? Lots of laughs for that. Hopefully this gave you a whole slew of ideas on what you can do with your vellum. I'm sure as soon as I'm done, I'm going to think of some more ways. we can use it, but hopefully that gave you some good ideas. Okay, and look at, I just want to keep playing. Look at how fun. Can we just put that on the tag and put relax on there? Or look at how fun. Let's put this on that tag and layer, and there's just lots of good things. Okay, so let's see. And Kathy has it. Okay, we do. We have some. We're walking down memory lane. And it looks like your album from 2005. Maybe we're on the same ship, Pam. Okay. Debbie has a question off topic. How did you get my CSJ logo on my watch? Oh, my husband's going to be so happy you noticed, Debbie. Isn't that fun? She's asking about my my little logo here. So Ellen, my oldest, helped me draw my logo. So that's like a little C, and then it kind of makes into an S and J, but it's really kind of just a curly little heart. You guys see that? And so John just took it. I think all you need is a PNG file and put it as a watch face. And he goes, you should be wearing that when you're streaming as your little watch face. So he did that for me. My honey did that for me. But I think it's just in the Apple settings. Fun question. Okay. Yeah, some vellum envelopes would be a nice accent to the page. The little pocket, like a little pocket you can make, or the envelopes. You get out your envelope maker, another use for that. Just so many things we can do. Okay. I know, what a guy, right? He's looking after me. Yeah, we're working on this new setup, so let me know what you think about that. Before we kind of say goodbye, I just want to let you know a few things coming up. We have Pop Crop tomorrow is our Pop Crop. So if you are a member of my Pop Live, the sketch is going to go up a little later tonight so that you can print it in the morning, and we are going to scrap the sketch together. And we will also have some fun doing some other layouts. I've got kind of an album flip through that I want to share with you, and some thoughts on combining big moments with everyday moments and kind of what I've learned about that. That's what my little topic is going to be, and kind of my plan moving forward. And also you will get the email with the Zoom link invitation later this evening as well. And it will also be available in the member area. Okay, for my pop stars. Also, just because I'm on Thank you, Sherry. I was muted on that screen. Okay. So next Friday night, thank you, Mary. Next Friday night scrapbooking. What I was mentioning is that to keep going with the ideas of tips and tricks, we're going to do tips and tricks for peekaboo pockets. What do you guys think about that? And I'm going to take, that was probably, that peekaboo pockets, bring back Lauren, that was probably one of my most requested videos to finish, which is you did, your first video on all those tips and tricks for peekaboo pockets. Could you show us more? We want more. And believe me, I've come up with a lot of other ideas on how to use peekaboo pockets. So I will get those all into one place and share them kind of like tonight, different tips and tricks with Vellum. We'll do different tips and tricks with Peekaboo Pockets. So let's see. Still can't see. Can't see. You can't see me? Okay. I hope you can see. No sound. We lost her. Yay. Gina's saying yay. So hopefully you heard that part. Okay. Hopefully I'm back. Now there will be new sizes. Exactly, Darlene. So we're going to have to play with those new sizes too. All right, so that's my plan for 2 weeks from now for Friday night scrapbooking. Okay, so Liz says, I'm here. Okay. All right, I know it's always something new. We're going to try and check out these little technological challenges always. Okay, so that's it. That's Friday night scrapbooking. I hope you enjoyed tonight's session. If you did, your comments and your thumbs up and your likes really do help with kind of giving me that feedback. I love to see it, and I love to see your comments. If you also have a super fun tip or technique to use with Vellum, leave it for us in the comment section, like what you do. What was one of your favorite things to do? Maybe I missed it and I didn't get to cover it. So hopefully you can leave that for us and we can all learn from you as well. All right. And yes, thank you, Sandy, for reminding us. Happy Mother's Day for all of you who will be celebrating this Sunday, either as you being a mother or celebrating your mother or both, right? Mothers all around. Have a wonderful, wonderful day celebrating you. And we will see you at the Pop Crop tomorrow if you are joining me there. Otherwise, I'll be back in 2 weeks for Friday night scrapbooking. Okay, so until then, have some fun. We'll see you again. And don't forget to take time to craft some joy. Bye for now.